In this section, we are going to work on the topic of couples that you should avoid because they make you insecure. In this case, we are going to see three types of couples. Firstly, those who distrust you and blame you for everything. Secondly, those who want you to be perfect. And thirdly, the provocative ones. Let's see the first case, the type of partner that makes you insecure because they distrust you. Here, we are talking about a person who is always trying to control you, who feels very jealous, who is always questioning you about what you do or stop doing, and that little by little begins to generate insecurity in you precisely due to the fact that you are always wondering if what you do or stop doing could at some point bother your partner. The signs of this type of couple can be found at the beginning of the relationship, although you are not going to see it because that game in which that person is jealous of you is going to make you believe that you are so special that is precisely what causes that person to control you so much. But as in the other cases, you will notice that here what is really happening is that that person is compensating in you for his own insecurities. So if they suffer, they will blame you for some action you have taken as a way of hiding their own conflicts. He may have a problem with a family member or a friend, or he may have suffered some disappointment in the past, and he will make you believe that the fault of what he is suffering in the present is yours. And as you may have already inferred, that will cause you over time to end up believing that you are indeed to blame for what happens to that person. And even more, so once the relationship ends, you will live in a constant state of paranoia because of that failed relationship. The signs for this type of couple can be found at the beginning of the relationship. If you don't do anything wrong and they make you feel like you are, clearly that person is suffering from some type of conflict. I always recommend that you evaluate. If the person exhibits this pattern, consider ending the relationship. And if you genuinely want to help her, recommend that she take some type of therapy, ideally with me. The second case of a partner that makes you insecure is that of the one who wants you to be perfect. They tend to be those people who pay attention to all the details. They usually do it because they see you as a projection of them. At first, you will believe that you are in a very good relationship because that person is supposedly helping you improve, to become the best version of yourself. But what is going to happen? That as time goes by, you will never meet the standard that she or he wants for you. You will always have mistakes. Nothing you do is going to be enough for him. And that will generate two effects for you. First of all, throughout the relationship, you are going to try with all your being to do everything possible to satisfy what that person expects of you. But the problem is that you cannot escape from who you are. If you like something and you start to stop doing it to avoid falling out of your partner's grace, you may notice that you are trapped in a relationship of this type. The second effect that this will cause is what I told you at the beginning, that you will begin to doubt your own tastes and your own desires, with which your ego state will be suppressed, with all the effects that this will have on your health. You will find the origin of this in people who were undervalued in their childhood, and that is why they impose a very high standard of living on themselves, which, since they cannot meet it, they seek to achieve that standard on others, mind you, so that they cannot meet it either. Therefore, By noticing that their partners are not perfect, by generating that insecurity in the other, they manage to recover their own false sense of security. If the other fails, that means I don't do it. That's how these people see it. The problem for you is that you leave the relationship because at one point you got bored of always being told what to do or what to say, and you spent many years doubting what you really wanted. Or even going to the other extreme, doing things that hurt you because you repressed yourself for so many years. Because as you repressed yourself for so many years, you reach that point where you have completely lost your balance. And the third type of partner that makes you insecure is the provocative type. They are those people who are always making you jealous, but they tell you that you should not be jealous or distrust them. There are people who constantly need to attract the attention of the opposite sex, even when they are in a relationship. There are those people who will always have trouble limiting the interactions that others have with them. They always have some kind of misunderstanding, in quotes, because there are people who make advance towards them. And logically, you are going to feel distrust and jealousy. But they will make you believe that you should not be distrustful and jealous if you are someone normal. Again, in quotes. But the truth is that there are people who need to regain their own confidence by hurting others, by making them feel insecure, and above all, going through life generating that effect in which they feel that they are desired and admired by others on an erotic or romantic level. The clearest sign is those people who at the beginning of the relationship receive many messages from potential suitors, or who go out with many people, or who are always being hit on by many people. I usually recommend not entering into a relationship with a person of that type, because that person has a compulsion that leads him to need to confirm himself through the erotic attentions of others. Because that will bring you the problem that at some point you will begin to doubt whether your questions regarding the way that person behaves are the most appropriate. And the greatest effect is that when you end the relationship, you will enter the next one with people who are going to hurt you again, because you will believe that what ended was precisely because you were so distrustful. So, if you look closely, you will fall back into this type of toxic relationship if you didn't do it in your past. So, again, the idea here is that you think and define if you had this type of partner throughout your life, and that you avoid them in the future so that you save the problems that come with them.